Raheem was a quiet boy. He lived a simple life, far away from drama and problems. He went to college every morning, sat in the same corner of the same class, and returned home before sunset. People liked him, but he never allowed anyone too close. He believed peace was better than friendship, but everything started to change the day she entered the college. Her name was Era. She walked into the class like someone who was trying to look strong, but inside, she was broken. Her eyes were sharp, but her smile was weak. Anyone could tell she was hiding something, but no one could understand what. The very first moment Raheem saw her, something felt strange. Not like love at first sight. It was something different, a feeling he couldn't explain. She looked like someone who wanted help, but didn't know how to ask. Era sat 2 benches ahead of him. She didn't talk to anyone, didn't look around, didn't even introduce herself properly. Even when the teacher asked about her old college, she just said, "I changed cities." And that was all. Simple answer. No details. No story. But Raheem noticed something that others didn't. Era kept checking her phone again and again, not in a normal way. She would look at the screen, her face would turn pale, and she would quickly hide the phone like she was scared of someone. Sometimes she even muted it without reading the messages. Sometimes she switched it off completely. It was strange and scary. During lunch break, Era went to the corridor. She stood near the window alone. Raheem sat far away, pretending to focus on his book, but his eyes kept going back to her. She looked lost. Her hands were shaking a little. Anyone could tell something was wrong. Suddenly, her phone rang. Era jumped, almost dropping it. She stared at the number on the screen, a number with no name saved. Her lips tightened. She answered the call, but didn't speak a word. It looked like someone was speaking from the other side, fast and angrily. She nodded silently, eyes filling with fear. Then she whispered something like, "I told you I'm in class. Please don't." But the voice on the other side cut her. She ended the call quickly. Raheem didn't hear the words, but he saw the fear. It wasn't normal fear. It was the kind of fear that comes when someone controls your life. He wanted to ask her if she was okay, but he didn't know her. He didn't want to look creepy or nosy, so he stayed quiet. The next day, something happened that brought them face to face. Era entered the classroom with a file in her hand. She looked tired, like she hadn't slept properly. As she walked past Raheem, her file slipped from her hand. Papers scattered everywhere across the floor. The whole class watched, but no one moved to help her. Some people even laughed. Raheem stood up without thinking. He walked to her, bent down, and started picking up the papers. Era was kneeling too, collecting her notes with shaky hands. "Thank you," she whispered softly. Her voice was sweet but weak, like someone who had cried a lot recently. Raheem looked at her for 1 second longer than usual. Her eyes, they were beautiful, but full of sadness. "You're welcome," he replied simply. For a moment, they both stayed quiet. Something unspoken passed between them. A small connection, a small understanding. Not love, not friendship, but something was there. When they stood up, one paper remained in Raheem's hand. It wasn't a college note. It was a hospital receipt. Era quickly snatched it, her face turning red with fear or shame. Raheem couldn't tell. She whispered, "Please, don't tell anyone." "Don't worry," Raheem said. "It's safe." Era nodded and walked away. But Raheem kept thinking about her. Who was she? Why did she look scared all the time? Why was she getting strange calls? And what was she hiding behind that forced smile? He didn't know the answers. He only knew one thing. Era was not just another girl. She was a mystery, a dangerous mystery. And his peaceful life was about to change forever. Something changed after that moment when Raheem helped Era pick up her papers. She didn't suddenly become his friend, but she didn't avoid him anymore. Before, she used to walk fast and disappear from class like she was running from something. Now, she would at least look around and give a small nod if she saw him. It was a small change. But for someone like Era, it meant a lot. Raheem never forced conversation. He respected her space. But he quietly observed how she behaved. She always chose the seat near the window, always kept her phone on silent, and always checked over her shoulder before leaving the room, as if she feared someone might be watching. One day, the teacher gave the class a group assignment. Students formed groups quickly, but Era stayed in her seat, unsure and uncomfortable. She didn't know anyone well enough to join them. Some girls whispered, some made faces, but no one invited her. Rahim noticed. He walked slowly toward her bench. "Hey," he said gently, "if you don't mind. Do you want to be in my group?" Era looked up, surprised. Not shocked, surprised. "No one else asked me?" she replied softly. "You didn't wait for them," Rahim smiled. "You didn't wait either," she said. For the first time, a tiny smile touched her lips. It made her look different, not sad, not scared, just human. They started working together. Era wasn't talkative, but she explained things clearly. She was smart, but there was always a hesitation in her voice, as if she had learned to stay quiet even when she knew the answer. During the assignment discussion, Era's phone vibrated again. She checked the screen, and instantly her expression changed. Her hands trembled. She quickly put the phone back in her bag, but the tremble stayed. Rahim saw it, but stayed silent. Later, when Era was writing notes, Rahim noticed faint marks on her wrist, not fresh but old, like someone had grabbed her tightly many times. She saw him looking and instantly pulled her sleeve down. "You okay?" he asked carefully. "I'm fine," she said too quickly. Era changed the topic before he could ask more. But Rahim knew she wasn't fine. The next day, something unusual happened. Era came late to class. Her hair was messy, and her face looked tired, like she had cried the whole night. She sat quietly, not speaking to anyone. When the teacher asked her a question, she didn't even hear it. Her mind was somewhere else. Rahim leaned slightly forward and whispered, "Are you okay?" Era blinked, like she had come out of a dream. "I just didn't sleep," she murmured. Her hands were cold. Her eyes were red. This wasn't just lack of sleep. There was something deeper. After class, Rahim walked beside her. She didn't stop him. They walked in silence until they reached the college gate. "Do you want to talk?" he asked. Era didn't stop walking, but she replied, "Talking doesn't change anything." "Maybe not," Rahim said, "but sometimes it helps." She didn't answer, but when she reached the bus stop, she turned slightly and whispered, "Thank you for trying." That evening, Rahim couldn't stop thinking about her. Why was she so scared? Who kept calling her? Why did she look like she hadn't slept in days? And who was she trying to hide from? The next morning, things became even more mysterious. A black car was parked near the college entrance. Windows dark, engine on, not moving. Era saw it and froze. Her face turned white. She stepped back slowly, hiding behind a pillar. Rahim watched the fear grow in her eyes. "Era?" he asked. She didn't answer. She only whispered, "Not again. Please, not again." Rahim looked toward the car, but before he could ask anything, Era walked away fast, almost running. She didn't attend class that day. Rahim felt worried. He didn't know what danger she was in, but he knew one thing. He wanted to help her, even if she never asked for help, and this was only the beginning. Era didn't come to college the next day, nor the day after that. Rahim waited quietly in class, pretending to focus on lectures, but his eyes kept drifting toward her empty seat near the window. It felt strange. The room looked incomplete without her silent presence. On the third day, Rahim found her sitting alone on the terrace during break. She wasn't crying, but her face showed a kind of emptiness that was even worse. Her hair was messy, her clothes looked wrinkled, and her eyes were swollen from sleepless nights. When she heard footsteps, she turned sharply, like someone expecting danger. But when she saw Rahim, her shoulders relaxed. "You didn't come to class?" Rahim said softly. "I didn't feel safe," she whispered. Looking at the sky instead of him, Rahim walked closer but kept distance. "The car?" he asked gently. Era didn't answer. Instead, she looked down at her hands. Her fingers were shaking again. "It's not just a car," she finally said. "It's them." "Who?" Rahim asked. She took a deep breath, long and shaky. "The people I'm running from." Rahim sat down a few feet away. "Era, you don't have to tell me anything you don't want to." Era wiped her eyes quickly, like she didn't want him to see her weakness. "No, I should tell someone. I've been silent for too long." For a moment, she didn't speak. Then her voice broke. "My family wants me to marry someone. Someone I don't want. Someone dangerous." Rahim listened quietly. He didn't interrupt. "His name is Kamran. He is older than me. Very controlling. Very possessive. He thinks I belong to him. I never agreed to marry him, but my family did. They said he is rich, powerful, and that he can give us a better life." Her breath became uneven. At first, he acted nice. But soon, he changed. He started controlling everything: my phone, my friends, my clothes. He shouted at me if I didn't answer his calls quickly. One day he grabbed my wrist so hard that these marks happened. She pulled her sleeve up slowly. The faint bruises Rahim had noticed earlier looked even sadder now. "I told my parents I don't want this marriage. They said I'm silly. They said he only acts strict because he loves me. But love shouldn't hurt like that." Rahim's jaw tightened, but he stayed calm. When I refused again, he threatened me. He said, "If you ever try to run, I will find you. No matter where you go." Era looked away, her eyes filling with fear. So I left my city. I changed my number. I came here for my studies. I thought, maybe I'll be safe. "But he found you," Rahim said quietly. Era nodded. "That black car. His men sit inside. They watch me. They follow me. They call me from unknown numbers. They want me to return. And if I don't," her voice cracked, "they will force me." Rahim felt a sharp pain in his chest. Not pity, anger. How could someone do this to a girl who just wanted freedom? "Why didn't you tell the police?" he asked. Era gave a broken smile. "He has people in the police. My family trusts him more than me. I have no one on my side. You're not alone now," Rahim said softly. Era looked at him, really looked at him, as if trying to understand how someone could say those words without expecting anything in return. "Why are you helping me?" she asked. Rahim didn't have a perfect answer. He just said the truth. "Because you deserve someone who stands with you, not someone who scares you." Era's eyes filled with tears. But this time not only of fear, also relief, but their moment was cut short. A phone buzzed. Era froze. Her hands turned cold. The screen showed the number again, the same unknown number she always feared. She let the phone ring, tears slowly falling down. Rahim moved a little closer. "What do you want to do?" he asked. Era looked at him, trembling. "I don't know," she whispered. "But I'm tired of running." Rahim knew things were about to get worse. But he also knew he wasn't going to let her face this alone anymore. After that day on the terrace, everything changed between Rahim and Era. They were not exactly close, but there was a silent understanding between them now. Era trusted him, maybe not completely, but enough to feel safer when he was around. And Rahim, without any dramatic promises, had decided something in his heart. He would not let her fight alone anymore, but danger doesn't disappear just because someone decides to stay. Strong. It was a Wednesday morning when the threat became real. Rahim was walking toward the college gate when he saw Era standing near the entrance, frozen like a statue. Her eyes were locked on something. Her face had turned pale. Rahim followed her gaze. The black car was back. This time it wasn't far. It was parked right in front of the college. The engine running. The same dark windows. The same silent warning. Rahim's stomach tightened. Era whispered, "They found me again." Her voice was barely audible, but the fear in it was loud. Before Rahim could say anything, the car door opened. Two men stepped out, both dressed in black shirts, thick beards, rough expressions. They were looking around like hunters searching for their target. One of them saw Era, A smile spread across his face, a cruel smile. Era. Inside, Raheem said quietly. She shook her head, no. If we move, they'll follow. Raheem stepped in front of her slightly, trying to block her from their view. But it was too late. The men started walking toward the gate. Not running, not rushing. Just walking with the confidence of people who knew no one could stop them. Era's breathing became rapid. They'll take me, she whispered. They'll force me into the car. Not while I'm here, Raheem said firmly. Era grabbed his arm. You don't understand. They are dangerous. I don't care, Raheem replied. The men came closer. One of them stopped just a few steps away, staring directly at Era. So, you thought you could hide forever? The man said with a mocking tone. Era didn't answer. She's not going with you, Raheem said, standing straight. Both men looked at him, amused. And who are you? Her classmate, Raheem replied. The man chuckled. Classmate? Do you even know who you're talking to? Raheem said nothing. The other man stepped forward. Era, come with us. Don't create drama. Kamran sir is already angry. You know what happens when he's angry? Era shook her head firmly. No, I'm not going. First man leaned closer. We're not asking. We're telling. Raheem stepped between them, blocking their path. You need to leave. Right now. For a moment, silence hung in the air. Then the men exchanged looks, angry, annoyed. Before things could escalate, a crowd of students started gathering. Some were recording videos. Some were whispering. Some called the security guard. The men realized creating a scene might cause trouble. We'll be back, one of them said, pointing a threatening finger at Era. Tell Cameron, sir, she refuses now. We'll see how long that lasts. They returned to the car slowly, still staring at her like she was prey. Era's legs almost gave out, but Raheem held her arm, keeping her steady. You okay? He asked. No, she whispered. They won't stop now. The car drove away, but the fear didn't. Raheem guided her to an empty bench behind the library. He let her breathe, let her calm down. After a minute, Era spoke. They will tell him everything. He will come here himself. And when he comes, he won't leave without me. Raheem clenched his jaw. We'll figure this out. You don't understand, Raheem. Kamran is not like normal people. When he wants something, he gets it. And he wants me. Da, da, da. Raheem looked at her seriously. You don't want him? You don't love him? You don't feel safe with him? That's enough. You don't belong to him. Era wiped her tears, shaking. I'm scared. I don't know what to do anymore. Raheem gently placed his hand near hers, not touching. Just close enough to show support. We'll fight this together. For the first time, Era didn't pull away, but deep inside, she knew. The real storm hadn't arrived yet. It was only getting closer. The next few days felt heavier than before. Even when the black car didn't appear, Era's fear stayed with her like a shadow. She kept checking behind her shoulder, kept jumping at sudden noises, and kept her phone switched off most of the time. But fear does not disappear. Just because someone tries to ignore it, on Friday evening, Raheem stayed back after class to finish a project. While packing his bag, he noticed that Era hadn't attended the last 2 lectures. Her seat was empty again. The college felt strangely quiet without her. Nervous steps. He felt something was wrong. He stepped outside and called her number. Switched off. He waited for a few minutes, then typed a message. Era, are you safe? No reply. Raheem walked home slowly, but his mind refused to rest. Every unanswered call, every empty classroom, every fearful look she had given, all of it kept repeating in his head. By the time night arrived, Raheem was restless. At around 11:27 p.m., his phone finally rang. It was Era. Raheem answered immediately. Era, where are you? Are you okay? But Era didn't speak. Only her trembling breath came through the speaker. Era, talk to me. Then her voice finally broke. Raheem, they fixed my engagement date. Raheem froze. What? My family. They spoke to Cameron's family. They didn't even ask me. They just told me. Her voice shook like someone holding back a flood of pain. When is it? Raheem asked. In 1 week. Raheem felt a punch in his chest. Era continued, her words flooding out like she had held them inside for too long. They said I should stop college. They said girls don't need education after engagement. They said my life will be secure with him. They don't care about how he treats me. They only care about what he can give them. She was crying now, not softly, but completely broken. I can't breathe in that house anymore. My mother said if I protest, they will lock me in my room. My father said a girl's job is to sacrifice. Sacrifice, Raheem. What about my dreams? What about my life? Raheem felt his heart squeeze. Era. Listen to me, but she kept crying. They told me I don't have a choice. And Kamran, he called. He warned me again. He said, don't try to run this time, Raheem. I'm so scared. I can't live like this. I can't go back to that cage. Her words were shaking uncontrollably. Where are you right now? Raheem asked. At the old bus stop near my street, she whispered. I left home quietly. I didn't know where else to go. I thought, maybe you would answer. Raheem was already grabbing his jacket. I'm coming right now. No, don't. Era's voice cracked. If they see you with me, they will hurt you.
I don't
Care, but I care. She whispered something in her tone felt like she had reached the last point of her strength. The moment when a person breaks completely, Raheem left his house and ran toward the bus stop. The night was cold, the streets empty. A street light flickered above the old stop, throwing weak light on the broken pavement. And there she was, sitting alone, shivering, her eyes red, her hands covering her face. When she saw Raheem, she stood up slowly. Her whole body looked tired, not from running, but from fighting a battle she hadn't chosen. Era, Raheem said softly. She didn't speak. She just walked toward him slowly. It's like someone drowning who finally found something to hold. I can't do this anymore, she whispered. I can't fight alone. You're not alone, Raheem said gently. A car sound echoed far away. Era's eyes widened. She grabbed Raheem's hand instantly, tightly, desperately. Her voice cracked like breaking glass. Raheem, if you leave me now, I'm finished. I don't want anyone else. It's you, or no one. Tears fell down her cheeks like she had finally said the truth. She had been hiding inside her chest for months. Raheem looked at her trembling, fingers wrapped around his hand. This wasn't love. This was survival. This was trust born from fear and pain, and he knew. Whatever came next, he could not step back. Now rain began to fall slowly. Soft drops touching the ground like tiny warnings of the storm coming behind them. Era stood under the flickering streetlight, holding Raheem's hand tightly as if letting go meant losing her last chance at freedom. Her words still echoed in the air. Yours or no one. Raheem felt the weight of her fear, her trust, and her breaking heart. He gently moved closer. Era, he said quietly, you're safe with me. I'm here. I'm not leaving. Era took a shaky breath. But before she could reply, headlights flashed at the end of the street. A dark car. The same style. The same fear. Era's grip tightened painfully. No. They're here, she whispered. Raheem quickly pulled her behind the bus shelter. Stay with me, he said. Don't panic. The car slowed down near the bus stop, scanning the area. Raheem could hear the hum of the engine and the low voices inside. Era pressed her forehead against his shoulder, trying to control her trembling. They won't stop, she whispered. They will take me. They always find me. Not tonight, Raheem said. He waited until the car finally drove away. Only then did Era's body loosen, but her tears kept falling. Rain mixed with tears, and fear with silence. Raheem gently lifted her chin. Era, this ends now. We need to do something. Running will not help anymore. She shook her head instantly. No. If you get involved, they'll hurt you. They hurt everyone who tries to help me. Let them try, Raheem said calmly. Era stared at him like she couldn't believe someone was choosing danger just for her. Why do you care this much? She whispered. Because you deserve freedom, he replied. You deserve a life, and I can't watch you suffer. Era closed her eyes. She looked tired, not just physically, but emotionally, like someone who had carried a mountain alone. What do we do now? She whispered. Rahim took a deep breath. We go to the police station. Era instantly pulled her hand away. No, I told you. Kamran has people inside. They will inform him the moment I file a complaint. We won't go to your city's police, Rahim said. We'll go to another station. Somewhere he doesn't know. Somewhere he has no control. Era hesitated. But my family. They will never support me. Then don't tell them, Rahim answered. Era looked shaken by the idea, but also hopeful maybe for the first time. Rahim continued. Listen, if we stay here, he will take you. If we hide, he will find you. If we go home, they will force you. But if we take a stand, if we say the truth to the right people, then maybe we can end this. Era closed her eyes, thinking deeply. Running had never solved anything. Hiding only made her weaker. Maybe fighting was the only choice now, Rahim. She whispered, voice trembling. Will you stand with me there? Rahim didn't pause. Yes. Until the end. Era wiped her tears slowly. Then, let's do this. They walked to the main road and took a rickshaw to a police station in another district. One Kamran and his men had no connection with. When they arrived, Era's legs felt heavy. But Rahim held her hand gently. Inside the station, a female officer listened carefully. Era told everything. The threats, the bruises, the forced engagement, the stalking, the black car. Her voice shook, but Rahim's presence gave her strength. When she finished, the officer nodded. You did the right thing, the officer said. You're safe here, and no one will force you now. For the first time in months, Era breathed freely. The station contacted a women's protection center. They arranged a safe place for her, away from her city, away from Kamran. Away from danger, when the officers told her she was officially under protection, Era looked at Rahim. Her eyes were wet again, but this time, with relief. You saved me, she whispered. Rahim shook his head gently. You saved yourself. I only stood beside you. Era smiled. A real smile, small but pure, before she left with the officers. She held Rahim's hand one last time. If you hadn't come tonight, I would have lost everything, Rahim replied softly. You're stronger than you think, Era. Now you have a future. Era nodded. She stepped into the secure vehicle, safe at last, and as the car drove away, Rahim stood under the streetlight, rain falling around him, proud, grateful, and relieved. AIR was free. And sometimes, saving someone is the most powerful kind of love.